Hey all, double 18 Seth Shadow here. So let's get into today's market watch, see where things are going. And we're going to start with card fight again today. More so, we're just going to take a look at a pair of cards, or I guess I should say, some series that are not necessarily picking up as well. But I mean, we've talked about this already. As far as popularity for the card fight Vanguard set goes, it's really just anything having to deal with Overlord and potentially just Blaster Dark. There hasn't been too much going on most of the other series and ride lines that are available. As an example, for what we have here, there is the Tsukiyomi series, which originally came out in set 3 for Cardfight Vanguard when this game first came out. This was one of the most popular ride lines back then, and over here it doesn't have nearly as much popularity. In any case, there are two legendaries to pick up for this overall ride line, so to speak, like Half Moon and Full Moon, but both of the cards are now around 250 to pick up, and their super legendaries don't command a lot of value either. Half Moon's currently just under $4 to pick up, while Full Moon is still something, but it's about $9 at its lowest, but it has a market price around 12. There's also the ultimate rare of Goddess of the Full Moon that's available, and that one's market price has dropped off to about $48 with a low listing at about 45. And of course, there is the first part of the ride line, which is Goddess of the Crescent Moon. That one is just a silver and is pretty easy to pick up. Market price is currently 35 cents on that one, but if you want the premium version of it, that one's close to $5 and only has 5 listings. Then there's Maelstrom. You have its base form, which is just Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom, which currently has listings of 4 and 5 for its regular and super legendary. And this is the one that also comes as an ultimate rare, which is currently $38 at the lowest, but it has a market price around 58. Then there is Supreme Dragon Glory Maelstrom, which is $3 to pick up for its regular legendary and $5 for the super legendary. This one also has an alt art if you participated in the release events for Cardfight Vanguard's booster pack. And I don't think that one is on TCG Player right now, but it's effectively similar to how the super legendary would look, just with a different artwork on it. Paradise Vanguard. So, I've talked a bit about Paradise Vanguard's alt art promos, which have not been on the market with a lot of quantities available, and they command a decent amount of value as well. The base form is available for around 37, and there's no copy of the Evo right now, which has a market price of 35. But the thing I also want to talk about is the Gold Evo that comes out of set 9, because, I mean, I talk about this all the time. Gold Evos are almost always worth if they get played in any significance, and Paradise Vanguard is no exception. There are 3 listings of this card where it deceptively looks like it's $2 at its lowest price. It has a market price of about $1, but if you take a look more closely, you can see that the vast majority of quantities actually start from $5, and then the $2 one has a $4 shipping tag, but it does have 2 listings. And despite the $5 price tag, though, there hasn't been as much incentive to pick this up, I suppose. We haven't seen this card move beyond $2 yet, and the last sales were actually today, as I'm recording this. And otherwise, we did see some in early September that all moved for $1, so now the availability of this card has really dropped off. Cyrodiil Eternity Hunter. While there's no real reprint on the horizon for this card right now, the card itself is still mostly down in value, especially given the restrictions that were applied on Dirt Rune with Gingerbread House. This card is now basically around $15-16 to pick up for almost all of its copies, with the exception of the super legendary of the Evo. And that one is in the $30 range, but it has a market price around $25 right now. A quick review on the premium foil versions of all the Ravens that you can pick up from set 9. There's Raven Eventide Vampire, Raven Midnight Vampire, and Raven Noontide Vampire. So basically, the 2 costs that has multi-effects, the one that can burn your opponent when playing bats, and the one that heals you when playing bats. So, right now, they're much lower in their base price as compared to when these cards were first released, because on initial release, these cards were just completely they were just really high up there in value. And at this point, their market prices are still much higher up compared to their lowest listings. You have $11.50 for Raven, $6 for oh wow. You have $11 for Eventide Raven, you have $6 for Midnight Raven, and you have around $8 to pick up Noontide Raven. And the market prices are basically a range of about $15.50 almost up to $18 right now. And I guess if we do take a look at something like Raven in more detail, there are actually 3 copies available for around 11 there, and then there are 3 listings overall that put it at $12 and under. Spartacus, not a card to miss out on. This one is still very readily available, but it's definitely one to have at least a copy of, especially given as an alt win condition. This card is really good to just have for Swordcraft. As in, it can just be a come out of nowhere type of play when you're playing something like Natra Sword. And then there's the new 1-cost sword that can also play this rather consistently. Spartacus is a legendary from set 9 as well. So it's another one where it would get harder to get later on once it starts running out of quantities. But at this point, it's not. 22 listings on the regular legendary that start at about $1. And the super legendary is about $1.50 at the lowest, with a market price around $3. However, the ultimate rare has only 7 listings on the market right now, and it's actually higher than its market price. It's got a market price of about $40, but its base listing is $49. And I want to take a look more particularly at the history. We haven't seen this card move since the beginning of August, but its last several sales from June and August upped all the way to $48, even up to $56. And now the lowest listing is $49. But after that one's gone, it's back to $56 to pick up. And the listings that are available don't have a lot of copies of this card available. Nagi Hisakawa is also starting to get some more attention now, and this I think also comes from playing one cost sword, because this card particularly wants you to use 1-cost cards for its fanfare ability. So this card also has an alt art that came as one of the hard to pull super legendary promos in shop tournament packs. But there's also the super legendary of the original art from the Idolmaster set, which is currently a base of $5 with a market price of about $5. And looking at it more closely, there are a number of $5 copies that you can pick up, but it looks like a lot of them also have $5 shipping tags. And unfortunately, if you wanted to go over and look at the legendary, its lowest listing was listed at $2, but that one also has a high shipping tag on it. The other copies are also around $5, but you do have a few options that don't have high shipping rates. So if you were looking to pick this card up, it is moving up and running out of quantities. Something else just to keep in mind, because I see this in a few builds here and there, is a silver card from set 6 called Biofabrication. It's a cost 1 that flips over an evo that you've used to draw a card. And it's got 24 listings on the market, so there are quite a few available. And this card has sold for 25 cents, 30 cents for the most part when it comes to going back as far as July. But it's still, let's see, pretty readily available at 25 cents. So if you do need to pick this up, it's something you could probably find in your bulk bins and not have a problem. Or if you've already bought a lot of set 6, you should have a lot of these. Demonium Clash Devil's 2nd anniversary promo variant was in the 40s for some time, but it's really dropped off since. This card doesn't see too much play and is currently at a base of about $25. 3 listings on the market right now, and the last time we saw this card move was back in early July for 43, but before that it moved for 30s. The listings that are available all range from 20, well, they're all 25 actually, just with additional shipping and handling to be plastered onto them. So effectively, it's more like a $26, $27 card right now. There are a few Uma Musume foils that seem to be getting some attention recently, so I wanted to point those out. One of them is a Forest Craft based one, Haru Urara. It's $4 at the lowest point right now with 2 listings on the market. Technically, there's a 44-cent one, but that also has a $5 shipping tag. So there's that. But it seems that over the last month, we have had a lot of these move for about 50 cents. And then it seems just today there were quite a few copies of this that moved for $2 to $4. So not really sure what's happening there. But yeah, the foil is basically off the market now. Then there's Outrunning the Encroaching Heat, where I can definitely see this one moving given it's got high utility between Uma Musume and just Swordcraft, given that it just gives a follower Storm no matter what. 4 listings on the market for this card, and we have been seeing more sporadic sales of this one over the last few months, but we did see a few in the last few days, moving from around $1.50 to $3 at tops. And its availability, its lowest is around $3.50 with some shipping added, and then it's mostly a $5 card when you also consider the shipping added to some of these other copies that are available. That's all for today. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later.